Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Rose Peter Graham, and this is Rose on All Sides. Nigeria is in an election year, and it has been, during this campaign season, it's been a season of blunders, especially between the so-called political gladiators. And will I be safe to say we've got three front runners or liners, and then two of them majorly, the older ones, the candidates of the APC, that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that's the presidential candidate, of course, and the presidential candidate of the PDP, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. They've just been falling over themselves. These two political gladiators or giants, they seem to be falling over themselves. Anyway, I would like to just have a discussion today about this too and the several other issues that have been making trending on social media with my colleague and my friend Femi Oke. He's a political analyst and the host of Enough is Enough, SRSOK, for a better Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome, Rose. Love to be here.
Isn't that a mouthful, Femi? That's a lot.
It's enough. The show is actually Enough is Enough, SRSOK. So, yeah.
Enough is enough, SRSOK. Like, you really got to say it.
You got to say it through. The whole thing works together.
I like it. And then we're really talking about them things we should be talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so now let us do this. I talked about the blunders that's been happening back and forth with these political giants. Mm-hmm. What is your take on them? You know, like, I don't know. What's your take? Tinubu's blunders constantly. The other day he was going to say, God bless the APC, and he went and he said, God bless PD, then APC. And when he was also, where was it? In Kaduna, and when he went for a lunch, and he made another error that the sitting president, that is Nasiru El-Rufai, made a bad situation worse. Mm. And then his media rep came to quickly, trying to save the situation.
Mm. Don't forget Dino Melaye and what he said about vote for APC, so they're all doing it. So look.
Yes, I saw that one also. Yes.
Yeah, and he tried to correct himself and he still ended up saying APC all the way, Yeah, it's political season. It's the crazy season where everything goes, and they're bound to make blunders. Really, the age is counting. You've got these old fogies, as they were, the candidates. Yes. We always have old politicians at the helm of affairs. Some will say, yeah, well, look at America, they've got Biden, and Donald Trump has declared that he's running again. So, old politicians are kind of one and all everywhere, But whether that's the best thing for Nigeria right now, only time will tell.
They call themselves, they christen themselves, the political gladiators. What do you think about that? Yeah,
because, they are going into the arena, which is like in Nigeria, politics is almost like a war, So, they're in the ring. But the funny thing is, are they really in the ring? Because when it comes to political debate, a lot of them are shying away. We're not seeing them come out to the forefront to do debates. They're not doing it. So that's.
But you know something, Femi? We're going to touch on that. Mm. That's one aspect we're really going to touch on, like debates. Mm. I don't know. There's been the one by Arise TV, but both candidates were not there.
Yeah. The thing is, what you got to look at is Arise TV. Are they an independent TV station? To be quite honest, people see Arise as the People's Democratic Program. It's a PDP channel in all but name. They claim to be independent, but everybody knows you can just listen to their anchors, listen to their questioning, listen to the manner of their questioning, they're a PDP channel. So with that kind of scenario, they're not independent.
Are you saying that?
I'm saying
that.
Okay,
that's news to me. I haven't studied them that much.
Abati was part of the PDP government, was he not? You just need to listen to.
He was the deputy.
You just need to listen to Rufai to really understand where Arise TV is coming from. So it's quite clear. It's beyond any reasonable doubt. You know that TVC is obviously, people call them the Tinubu video channel because that's a pro-Tinubu station. And channels looks like the obedient station because they're always talking about Peter Obi. So that's what's happening out there. There are no independent stations. Even in, if you go to America, we know that...
I know the Fox TVs
Fox
for the
TVs
Republicans. CNN is more like for the Democrats.
So
yes.
there's no, it's not a big deal. But what we want is people to be honest about it. Don't try to make out like you're independent when you're not. We know the truth.
I can't believe you just said it.
It's just the reality.
Okay.
I'd rather that our journalist friends, we're all journalists, tell the truth about where they stand. Don't try and present themselves as
No, I'm impressed you have that analogy about them because I haven't looked at them critically yet, and that's an aside. But I want to talk about these two political gladiators right now who have been fumbling, they've been stumbling to the detriment of their supporters who have to now start defending them, at every given opportunity. You now have people start saying, oh yeah, PD, APC, yes, these are the people that they're talking about, whatever. I mean, can't they own out and say that Tinubu made a mistake? Atiku made a mistake. He shouldn't have said this, they shouldn't have said that, they should have said it this way, and things like that.
I think it's quite straightforward. I think what we have to do in politics is start telling ourselves the truth. If you made a clanger, you made a misstep, you said APC instead of PDP, it's not a big issue. The audience know what you really mean.
Yes.
You've made a mistake. It's not an issue. And the sooner you correct yourself, the better it is.
Okay, now you say it's not an issue, but what if we now have a situation when it's one time too many? If it keeps coming on, they keep doing the same thing, back to back, on, and we're wondering, are these the people who are going to run our affairs? Are these the people who are going to vote into the highest office in the land to make decisions for us?
I don't think that, people can say, even when we're talking now, I could just misspeak. It's not a real issue as such.
Are you trying to speak for a candidate? Are you
I'm not speaking for any of them.
No, you're covering up for a candidate because you say, I feel that it is one time too many.
No, as I've said to you, all of them are doing it. Even Peter Obi misspeaks sometimes.
When did he?
Oh, many a times. In fact, when you go to fact checking and you want to fact check Peter Obi,
do you know when it comes to Peter Obi? I'm not speaking for Peter Obi, and I do wish that we have someone to speak for him here, and that is what we're going to do next week. The fact is this: I usually see when it comes to dissecting this candidate with the Peter Obi one, people practically go like this: give me the knife and the fork, let me rip him apart. Let me find there must be something in this pie. But the rest, you can just stand and say, and just look at them, and then you can tell there's something wrong. But with Peter Obi, you have to take time to let me find out what is wrong.
Not really. I mean, look, they're all in it together. I mean, I can really dissect each one of them, but at the end of the day, they've all got their pluses, they've all got their minuses.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not speaking for anyone today, so I can dissect anyone. There's positives about the APC, there's positives about the PDP,
yes,
and there's positives about Obi, and even Kwankwaso, and others, people like Shore, he's on the cards. And I watched him on the rise. You talked about the debate. And to be quite honest, I must be honest with you, that of all the candidates that have spoken on the show so far, of course, Atiku wasn't there, and Tinubu wasn't there.
Yes.
But I will tell you quite categorically that Shore was the most professional, most presidential, and also spoke to the issues that are bedeviling young Nigerians for the future. When he talked about the ecology, the environment, the population, and non-oil, stop using oil, and a non-oil future, non-petroleum future, he spoke very, very educatedly and very informed person. And I think he was the best candidate in terms of the debates on the rise so far. But when you go to the media, Shower is nowhere on the platform. It's like it doesn't exist. So
why do you think that is?
Yeah, it goes back to what we're saying about even with the Labour Party, is that if you don't have a political structure, in the end, the results will speak for themselves. You would just not get the votes. And so that's what happened to Shower in 2019. And you would have thought that within that 4 years, he would have built that structure. But unfortunately, it looks like he's not built that structure. And Labour Party, Peter Obi has jumped on the bandwagon of Labour Party, used them as a pedestal. And therefore, he's got that kind of trajectory going for himself. People have warmed to Peter Obi, but to me, Peter Obi is PDP light. He's not the change, in my view, that people are talking about. He's one of the existing politicians. He's actually an ex-PDP man. So, whereas Shawari is absolute change.
He used to be with ABGA, then he contested on the platform of the PDP.
Yeah, so what I'm suggesting to you is part of the old guard. Shawari, and even the guy on, in fact, I've forgotten his Prince Ade something or the other, or SDP. He was another person that spoke very well as a presidential candidate. And it's amazing that the media are not picking on, people like channels.
Yes, that is what I really don't understand about the media, because it now invariably falls back to the fact that the media tends to be the problem when it comes to a lot of issues. Because their mind is just set. These are the three major candidates we're voting for, we're campaigning for. We're talking about Atiku, we're talking about Tinubu, and we're talking about Obi. That people has loads of followers. I mean, look at them. These three political gladiators. Now, but there are other contestants, but everyone just seems to be talking about
18 contestants.
18 contestants, and we're all only talking about these three.
And the thing is, the reason why that is, I've already mentioned before. I said TVC is pushing the APC Tinubu video channel agenda. Arise TV and AIT is pushing the PDP agenda, and channels now, it appears to be pushing the obedient agenda. So there's no real channel that's pushing the other candidates.
Yes.
And that's why they're more or less in oblivion. So, I mean, Shawari has got Sahara Reporters, but they're an online station. They're not really seen in everybody's household. So that's why they're not getting that traction.
But do you know that to actually get people to hear you, you need to have a media house that's,
pushing the narrative. You do. And that's why, I had my program yesterday and we spoke on it and we talked about the main candidates coming out to debate. And you heard people in the PDP and APC saying they don't need to speak to the audience and that they can speak to them at their choosing. And this is the kind of democracy that we have, where you have had a president for 7.5 years. APC president, is my man, Buhari, but he didn't speak to Nigerians.
That is the problem. And you see, when we start criticizing Buhari, I say to people, you really don't have to, because we don't have the justification to criticize him, because he wasn't speaking to us. There were a lot of spokesperson for it. He never said anything. So he just went in and he has this attitude of a Fuda Lord, and he feels he's got so much entitlement to the treasury and he could just behave the way he likes.
I'm not sure about
thankfully is this: Buhari's time has run out as the president of Nigeria. He is leaving. You can even imagine when he came here to the United Kingdom a week ago, no one even bothered about him. No one is talking about him. He has become irrelevant in the news, which is good. I wonder how he feels about that. And I will say this without any apology. Buhari has become completely irrelevant when it comes to politics right now. So you're done. Please pack your bags and you go, because you have made no impact whatsoever in the lives. He has made no impact whatsoever in the lives of Nigerians.
I beg to disagree with you.
No. I'm saying that. I'm saying that on TV, on camera. Buhari has made no impact on our lives. As a matter of fact, he has made things worse. I don't know why you want to disagree with me, but I don't want to talk about him because he's done. He's gone. Let him just go. So we're talking about these guys. And then let us move just a little bit. Let's talk about the letter Soludo wrote on Monday, discrediting his predecessor, Peter Obi, in Anambra. I don't know why that is necessary. Do you want to tell me?
It's absolutely necessary, because, again, it speaks to the reality of what's going on. It looks like if you throw a screen, smoke and mirrors, and you're trying to tell people that you've done fantastic stuff, when in reality it was just mediocre. Someone who's a professor, Professor Soludo, former CBN governor, is unlikely to be telling lies. You understand that? He's a person of character, a person of substance. And what I find with people in Nigeria is that when Soludo won the election, they were all hailing him and saying, oh, great stuff, he's won, he's a fantastic guy, he's bringing a new thingy. And the moment he says something that they disagree with, then they start insulting and abusing him. And that's the kind of politics that we have in Nigeria. Rather than dissecting what he said and looking at it realistically, is he actually speaking truth to power, or
Yes.
he's just telling a pack of lies?
You know, this is what I don't understand. From a man who ran the federal, the central bank, and then he so wanted to be a governor, to be relevant. Under him, just like Kenneth Okonkwo said in his interview on AIT, how there has been so much insecurity under his state. I think he should rather, because it's the first time in that state a lawmaker will be killed, beheaded. No, you wait. I know there's a lot of violence in the East right now, but what is he doing in making sure the people are safe? I think, in my opinion, which I do believe is right, Soludo should concentrate on making Anambra State work and safe for the people. Okay. Instead of trying to pull down a man who used to be part of the party. He said that the guy was offered the platform. Sorry, he said that Peter Obi was offered the platform of the president to be the presidential candidate for APGA, and Peter Obi turned it down.
All right,
could that be one of the reasons he's upset?
So I'll go back to what I'm saying. You're sounding like an obedient. This is what I.
Oh no, I'm not an obedient.
I'm not saying you are.
No, Femi, but you can't say that. You just said that on air.
I said you're sounding like. I didn't say you are. The reason why I'm saying that is that Soludo, Professor Soludo, is entitled to his opinion, and this is what I find strange about a lot of obedience is that, rather than dealing with the substance of what they're talking about, you detracted and said, oh, he should be focusing on government. No, he's still doing his governance. But whilst he's doing his governance, he spoke to the issue of Peter Obi because he was asked the questions. And unlike other people who keep quiet, he decided, okay, I must answer those questions.
Listen
truthfully
to this.
And honestly.
You know what? Let me read this. Let me read one of the things Peter Obi said when he came. What Soludo said when he was responding.
You're misspeaking now.
Thank you. Okay, what Soludo said when he was making reference to, how people addressed him, and he called them bullies online. So he said this. He said, several well-meaning Nigerians and Indigbo called to advise that I should just ignore them. Those are the fans, the obedience. He said the respected Igbo elder statesman who called and advised. He said he called and advised that I should just ignore what he described as Peter Obi and his social media mob. He said, according to him, everyone knows that he's going nowhere, but they are looking for who to blame. After some 20 minutes of discussion, he advised that I should personally author a response just for the records. And that was why he brought out his response on Monday,
Yeah, the thing is, look, who other than the governor of a state who has access to privileged information will know the reality of the performance of those who were there before him? And rather than, let's look at it critically and say, is what he's saying a fabrication or real, they chose to, mob culture. And this is why a lot of people are, if you look at Trump's scenario now, Trump is waning now. Because, that aggressive tendency about the people that are following Trump and the denial and all that kind of stuff. I think politics in Nigeria needs to be more mature now. You don't have to agree with your opponent. But that doesn't mean because we have a different view, then I become your enemy. We can still be friends.
No, I don't think we should get to that point.
Very aggressive.
But for me, I am wondering why this guy used to be a part of APGA. He's from Anambra State. He was a governor. You're also a sitting governor. I think he should look for ways to support him instead of pulling him down. I repeat, I don't see it as a matter of pulling him down. It's because when you speak facts to people, and then someone says, actually, what you're saying out there and the reality are not matching up, it is only right for someone to say that. Why should you keep saying a lie if someone says what you're saying is a lie, and someone can say, actually, no, the facts speak otherwise? And then unless you can rebut that, then, what Soludo said is factual. He made investments. People are asking, are those investments in family business? Peter Obi hasn't answered that. And not only that... But they are not for family business.
Not only that...
And he has employed over 10,000 Anambrans in that brewery.
Come on, they're not up to 10,000 people in the brewery. Come on. Maybe he's talking about indirect workers and so on. But what I'm suggesting to you is that the business that the government invested the Anambra State money, and they're making a loss now. So the shares were worth 50 naira per share and now they're worth 5 naira per share. So that means that the investment is worthless compared to the investment that they had before. Of course, they maybe have made profits in the intervening period.
Shares rise and they fall. It happens. But at least it gave people jobs.
The fact remains, the investment is worth less now than it was then.
Whose fault was it?
We're not asking about fault. It's not about whose fault.
So why is it even an issue? It created jobs.
It is an issue because when you say that I've made loads of investments, and if those investments are not worth it, are more worth less than what they were, that's a problem.
Would you rather is there, not save, squander the money, leave the state in debt, and at the end of the day, not create all these employment opportunities?
What I would say to that, this is my personal opinion now, and I'm very honest with it. This is not about partisanship.
Okay.
Government is about governance, okay? It's about building infrastructure. It's about providing service. It's not about saving money. You actually have to make that money work for you. So if you tell me that I left government and I left loads of money, to me that does not speak well, because what you should be doing with that money is to make it work for it. Because if you don't, what happens? Hold on, what happens?
He built over 100 schools.
What happens is that when you leave, the next governor squanders that money, as we can see with Obiano.
No. The fact is this: why would the governor come? You've made so much on ground. Why would you squander it? If your predecessor was doing so well with the resources of the state, you should. The normal thing, the clear-cut thing to do, is to continue.
Well, let's not focus too much on
it's fine. No, but those are the things.
At the end of the day, that's their problem in Anambra State to focus.
And I would like to take my viewers very quickly to Lagos State. We haven't actually touched Lagos State. We're still looking nationally. But you see, I want to play this video of Funke Akindele. Our opponents are actually, they've been using it against her. Funke Akindele, the popular Jennifer. She is, hold on, she is the political, she is the candidate for the PDP, deputy governor for the PDP in Lagos State. She's a movie star. We all know her, like one of the 5 biggest artists in Nigeria. Did I say 5, 10, or whatever? But anyway, this video came out. I'm not sure she actually did this video now. Let's play it for you. What do you think about that?
I'm quite impressed with that. She's got some moves, I can say that. I'd love to meet her on the dance show.
That's really pretty. I mean, she looks so beautiful, as if she has really, really changed. That is what I'm going to be saying here. The opponents are saying something entirely different. They're actually using it against her. Of course, the APC is the main opposition to the PDP in Lagos State.
Well, we've seen what happened in Osun State with the dancing senator. So, who knows? The dancing deputy governor.
He danced
star power does actually have an effect. So I think we shouldn't poo-poo these kind of stunts, because the youth are the majority of the population. Definitely. And if they are keen into this kind of thing, maybe it's good for them. They're going to be dancing all the way to the ballot box when the elections come. Who knows?
But that was some moves, and that was bold.
Serious moves.
And do you think that, apart from you mentioning the youth, do you think that would appeal to, I don't know, to the voters? The
thing is, I think it's all part of the bravado of politics, isn't it? You try anything and everything to do what? It will be good for some people will like it, some people won't like it.
Yes.
So those who are already in your camp, they're going to be loving it. Those who are floating independence, who knows, So, it's Jando. That's, Lagos for Lagos. We'll see what happens.
Sure, Lagos for Lagos. That's one. And secondly, I want to take you back to, this... the political gladiators, because they christened themselves that name, and we're going to call them that. So they should look at having a one-on-one talk with Nigerians.
Absolutely. I think it's quite imperative, as I say, and we've had a situation where we had an incommunicado president for the last 7.5 years. I think it's just unacceptable that we're going to have another president that's going to do the same. I think Nigeria's a young country, and we want presidents that we can be proud of, who can speak truth to power and can explain whatever issues that are there. And I think they shouldn't be scared to go even to the lion's den to speak to, I mean, it doesn't mean because you're APC, you're not going to go to, as I say, the PDP channel. Go there. Because you know that you're speaking truth to power, you're confident and you're strong. Whatever they're going to throw at you, you should be strong enough to be able to cope
So what
with
about their spokesperson? I mean, there's so much. Talking about spokesperson, I was actually hoping we could talk about Femi Fani-Kayode and Dino Melaye. Those two are at it with each other just like that. And you're wondering, like, what is happening with these guys? What's happening with these men? These are mature men who believe that... should comport themselves when they're publicly addressing.
These are spokespersons for hire. Femi Fani-Kayode was in the PDP at one point, and he was throwing fire and brimstones against APC. Now he's going away against PDP. Dino Melaye too was in APC, if you remember, in 2015.
Yeah, and you see the
role reversal.
Talking about
People
political
like
prostitution
Voila.
and cross-carpeting, like they would say.
He's another spokesman who was in APC, now is in PDP. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I call them all political prostitutes, They're here today, gone tomorrow. So they need to have a backbone. They need to be steadfast.
And do you know something? And do you know something? And whatever party they find themselves, they speak so passionately against, for and then against the other party.
It just makes you wonder, because you can pull up videos where they said so much things about the other party, and the next minute they're saying, so it's like, oh, when you were there, it was all great, and then all of a sudden, oh, come on, they're just jokers. I mean, we need people who are committed to the message, who are truthful and honest, and I think parties should stop trying to get, how can I put it, other people's fighters. They're almost like you're going to get, let's go and get their people so they can bring them on board, So, no, they should find their own independent people to speak for them, not these kind of people.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. And then, of course, we'll be talking more about all the other things that happen. We can't discuss them within the time frame, But we're watching. It's becoming really, really interesting. And as they fumble, they stumble, it's to the detriment of their supporters, who now have to painstakingly defend them, I would say. But for those two, I'm looking for a situation where I can have the two of them on at the same time and let us hear them talk.
I think we should have them debate. I think you're right. I think we should even have them on rows and on sides. We should have a one-on-one with Asiwaju on your show, on my show, a one-on-one with Atiku, one-on-one with Peter B. Let them come to as many media houses.
I will love that. I will so
we should
love
have that.
Yes, because they want to speak to the diasporans. Imagine, knowing the influence the diasporans have on families or Nigerians back home. So it will go a long way if they would take out their time to say, to come out to talk.
I think
talk one-on-one, because that is why I am really impressed with the candidate of the Labour Party. I am not an obedient, but I'm just telling you this. I'm impressed with what he does.
But you know that he's playing catch up, so he's got no choice but to be at every station, everywhere, because he's behind, and he needs to be out there. Because if he's not out there, he's just dead in the water.
I am going to take you up on this obedient gist. I will. Okay, so that's the much we can take. People, thank you very much for joining me. My name remains Rose Peter Graham, and I've been speaking with my friend and colleague Femi Oke, political analyst and host of Enough is Enough, Esorosuke for a Better Nigeria.
Fantastic, lovely.
Thank you. Okay then, take care. Bye-bye.